Hey guys, welcome back to our Liberty House. It's Beth here, and I just realized what day it is. It's like the middle of November already. This year is flying by, and I haven't filmed a November garden tour for you guys yet, so I'm gonna knock one out today, bring you guys along as I check out the garden and just share with you all the changes since last month and what we have growing for the fall and winter here in Zone 9B, so let's just get right into it. And not gonna lie, our garden is kind of a mess right now because we are just in the middle of a couple things, and typically I like to clean up for you guys, but I'm just gonna share with you how it looks right now because that's just real life. So let me start right over here at our first raised bed. So this bed here is divided kind of in half. We have one jalapeno plant. If you can tell, this is a jalapeno right here that we kept in because we were able to plant around it, and it's still producing some jalapenos that we're enjoying, so we left it in. So we sowed some onion starts this year from seed, and I honestly thought they were going to die because they did not look well, but we finally transplanted them into the soil and they're looking a lot better. So I'm very hopeful that we'll get some onions this year. And then over on this side will be some garlic. It hasn't popped up yet. We have some weeds popping up in here. Oh, maybe there's a sign of one coming to life right there. And we'll see. We planted 2 types of garlic this year. This is one variety, and then we have another variety that I'll show you here in a little bit. And what's new for us this year that's been really fun is I planted some saffron bulbs. So saffron is the world's most expensive spice, is its tagline. It is these red stigmas that come out on these cute little flowers. And I'll actually harvest these today because as soon as they pop up, you want to harvest them and just pull out those red stigmas, let them dry, and you have to cure them for a little while before they're ready to use in cooking. But we have this pot here, and then I have another pot here with saffron in it. And then another thing I want to show you back here, we still have some zinnias in from the summer that are looking pretty good. What I like about this giant Benary's zinnia is it holds up so well into the fall. And even when they're kind of dying back, like this one's an older bloom, they still look really nice and just add some color into the garden. And down here, I don't know what happened with our pea germination. We planted peas all along here, and only a handful of them have come up and survived. It looks like we need to re-sow some. I just haven't gotten around to it. And then in our next bed is this one right here. And we have a lot going on back here. We still have a few of our hot peppers in from the summer, and they've been really enjoying these cooler temps. We have some Scotch bonnets here that are ready to harvest. These are serrano peppers, also looking like we could harvest some, make some salsa. And then back over here are Thai chilies, which is some of my favorites. I like to harvest them when they turn red, and then you can either throw them in your dehydrator, or we sometimes hang dry them in our house for a couple months and then crush them up for like a crushed red pepper. We tried to grow some lettuces down here. This is Butter Crunch, but it's just kind of a little wackadoodle. And over here we planted broccoli. I have 6 broccoli plants back in here, which early on got annihilated by cabbage worms. You guys heard me talk about that last month. And really over the past month, that is a beet hanging out in there. Over the past few weeks, I really haven't seen any more cabbage worms, and a lot of these new leaves don't show signs of them. So that's really positive. I'm really excited because it's just, those worms are so dang annoying. No signs of a broccoli crown yet, but they are looking good, and I feel like this spot is doing well for them. They get a decent amount of sun. And then I have another one of those zinnias hanging out in here. We still have some basil hanging on to summer. I'm thinking, because we've had a few pretty cold nights, It might be time to just harvest what's left. As you can see, some of these leaves are starting to just show signs of decay, just ready to be done, I think. And you can see we've tried to plant some peas down here on the arch, but just not a great germination rate, which is interesting. We haven't really had that problem before, so I don't know if that's the seeds or something else in the environment that's going on. You can see a lot more basil popping up over here. And then we did plant some beans. You can see there's a Chinese long bean here that's about ready for size anyways to get cooked. You can see a couple more kind of hanging around. They blend in pretty well. I think we could have, when we planted them, like packed them in a lot more to get, a better harvest. This one's not quite ready. It's a little bit skinny. So that's just a learning curve for us, but really like those beans. They're pretty good. And then this is a different type of bean. This is a scarlet runner bean, which is supposed to be more for like the flowers and the foliage. So we'll see if that survives much longer with all these cold days, cold nights ahead. Here's that celosia from summer that's pretty much done. You can see, I don't know if you can see in there all this little black dots, all the seeds oh yeah, they're just like falling off into my hand. If you kind of, some seeds I could try to collect. I don't know if I'll do that or not, but yeah, you can see them in there. You can see I planted some more flowers down here. I planted some flax, and then this is a drumstick flower in that pot. And this bed, we have, I planted 4 cauliflower, a little bit slow to grow. They also had some cabbage worm issues earlier, but have since recovered and are just chugging along. We have some radishes down here and some bok choy that's really probably overdue. We need to have bok choy on the menu this week to eat. We've eaten one, and then I planted some lettuce there that we've already harvested, and I'm just kind of seeing if it comes back. It got relatively leggy right off the bat because I think when we had planted earlier this fall, Sacramento was getting these like still really hot heat waves during the day, and now it's just getting so cold at night. We've had some kind of crazy weather. So those are my first 3 beds. Let me keep walking down here. And then this bed is where we planted the bulk of our garlic. This entire bed here is garlic. It's the Lore's Italian variety, so it's a soft neck. Actually, both varieties we planted are soft neck varieties. And this bed has already popped up quite a bit. I think it gets maybe a little bit more sun than that other one. Some extra compost that's left over. And then I'll get to the mess here in a second, but let me stop at our 4 or 5 tree boxes, we call them. This first one we planted potatoes in. You can see Lucas has been covering them up or continuing to bury the potato leaves as they continue to grow. So we first planted those potatoes in this bed, or in this box, when the soil was a lot lower. And with potatoes, you can kind of keep mounding the dirt in order to get more potatoes or encourage that deep growth, so it fills up this whole box, hopefully. And then we have kale, this giant tree of kale. And then in this tree box, we planted Romanesco. First time growing Romanesco in here. We just picked up a 6-pack from the garden store and are just seeing how they go. They really didn't get any cabbage worms over here, which was nice. But yeah, brassicas are just a little bit slower to grow, and in the cooler season too, in the fall and winter, if you're new to growing in these seasons, compared to summer, things feel a lot slower. It's a much slower pace in the garden, which I really enjoy the change. And then we have another tree box here that also has kale in it. We have a lot of kale this year. And then our last tree box, if you guys remember, had Jerusalem artichokes in it all summer long. We have finally emptied the tree box. We had to literally dump the entire thing to get it out, and we're in the process of sorting through this. We kind of started it late yesterday and just didn't get a whole lot in here. But yeah, we have a lot of Jerusalem artichokes hanging out in here that are in the process of getting processed. Right. So let me bring you back here to our last bed on this side of the yard. We have Liberty, get out of there. She just wants to sniff in there. We have blueberries, which are looking really fun this time of year as they change colors for fall. We really aren't doing anything with the blueberries right now other than like maintaining a watering schedule with them. They're in the process of overwintering, so it's not a good time to fertilize or anything like that. You just want to let them overwinter, and then come early spring, that's when you want to fertilize. And over here is our Napa cabbages. We've harvested one already, and we could harvest all of these right now. They're all looking so good. You can see that like nice tight head of cabbage right inside there. And they all just love this spot. The spot gets full sun, and they have just grown really fast. I'm really impressed with them. It looks like we have a couple probably garlics coming up that got missed from picking. So that's interesting. And then we have 2 more cauliflower back here. And then some more of that scarlet runner bean growing up this trellis. And yeah, it looks like, so if you guys follow us on Instagram, you guys have recently seen that we finally tore out the center cut squash from this trellis. And if you've been following on the channel for a while, you've seen the massive growth that we had on that one plant this year. We finally were just tired of it. It honestly, I think, would have kept growing for another month, maybe 2 months, and kept producing. You can see, I accidentally left these out last night. These are the center cut squashes when they're young. So you treat them like just like a zucchini as you cook them, like this. And then if you let them ripen on the vine longer, they kind of turn this yellowy color, and you can treat it more like a butternut squash, which is really cool. And you can store it like a butternut squash too, which is great, because you don't need to, like a lot of the green center cuts that we stored, we shredded and froze just like you would zucchini. So we have pounds of shredded zucchini or shredded center cut squash in the freezer, but we're able to store these just in the pantry, like dry storage, which is nice. So back here, it's still a little bit of a mess, 'cause like I said, we just kind of tore this out yesterday. We have celery back here that's looking pretty good. I'm excited to hopefully get some celery. Actually, it kind of looks like I might have some like white flies or something buzzing around. You guys see that? Maybe some aphids. I don't really see where they're coming from. But then I do have, so this is clary sage here, which is just a flower. Hasn't gone to flower yet, but will. And you can see I started to help trellis up some of these peas that we planted here in the back. Got a couple over there as well. So hopefully on this trellis we'll have more peas, and now that that center cut squash has come out, we'll be able to plant some more peas down in here. And you can just see like how big that stem was from that one stalk, and it literally covered this whole trellis and then some. It was crazy prolific. And then up here in front we have carrots that I honestly are just kind of a so-so germination. I'm not super impressed with any of it, and probably doesn't help that I have them covered in some of these leaves, but we'll see what happens with the carrots. And you can see we had beans planted in this bed previously to the summer crops. That was what was in here last fall and winter, and so I have some like beans trying to pop up over here. And then over here it's honestly just kind of bare. not really doing a whole lot with it. Sorry, I'm just laughing at Liberty because she's just sitting on the dirt pile. What are you doing? Why do dogs like to sit in the dirt? She's so funny. But I do have kind of a pollinator island right here of some different stock. I think some more clary sage, some bachelor button right in there. Another zinnia. This zinnia has been so pretty, but these giant varieties get so big they tend to fall over. So I had to kind of try to anchor it up with this, but then I whacked it back too. I recently planted 2 new pots with strawberries, that one there and this one right over here. And I just transplanted some of the runners that were off of my strawberry pot from last year. So rather than throwing away the runners that we're trying to get out of that pot, I transplanted them to a new pot. So let me show you what we have over here. You guys maybe saw I had some volunteer pumpkins right over here. Cleared those out because they were just getting covered in powdery mildew. I've honestly had to kind of whack back our rose, so she's looking a little not a great shape, I guess you could say right now. But the wind we've had from a couple recent rainstorms kind of blew her in all directions. But she's looking really good still. She's still really, really large. And honestly, the pruning her up made it a lot easier to get the lawnmower through here. We have 2 artichoke plants. We have this one here and another one there. Here's our climbing roses up here. Here's that other artichoke. Our other hybrid tea rose. And then I laugh every time I see this passion fruit vine that's just gone whack. So we planted it right over here. Not a big enough spot in hindsight. But we do have some passion fruits coming. You can kind of see a few right over here. Some that got pollinated. Let me see if we have any open flowers I can show you. You can see a lot of these ones that have closed. Oh, this one's partially open still. It's a really cool flower when you can see it in its prime. Here's another one right there. So we're just kind of letting it do its thing. And here's our final raised bed that's going on right now. And it just has some more brassicas, and these are still pretty small because this bed honestly gets a little bit of morning sun as the sun comes this way, but then it's all afternoon shade. So I suspect these will just take a little bit longer to fully mature, but we have 6 Brussels sprouts and 6 cheddar cauliflowers right over there. And a couple peppers that are still in from the summer garden. These are just like a sweet picnic pepper right in here. So that is really a really quick garden tour for you guys. Here's some of the Jerusalem artichokes that we pulled from that pile already and just need to get rinsed off here. And if you have any insight on what we should make, if you have any good Jerusalem artichoke recipes, let me know because we have a lot. And then last but not least, let me just share with you guys what's going on with our 2 trees. This is Alfonso, our avocado tree, who really has no update because, I mean, I don't know. People tell us we can't grow avocados here in Sacramento. We were hoping to prove them wrong, but still no signs of avocados. And then here is Leonardo, our lime tree, who is doing really, really good. It is full-on lime season. So we've been harvesting some limes already. I wish you could smell like what this tree smells like right now. It is so fresh and so good and just really fun. I love getting fresh citrus from the backyard. So that's pretty much it. That was probably one of my faster garden tours I've done in a little while, so I will try to be a little bit more thorough with you guys next month in December when I come back. But I just really wanted to make sure I gave you guys a quick update, because I know a lot of you guys, this is your first time growing fall and winter gardens, and it's such an exciting time. And arguably it might be, I don't know, I don't want to say I love it more than the summer garden, but it's up there, it's close. I do enjoy the pace, the slower pace. You don't have to be out in your garden like every day worrying about sun scald or anything like that. To pay a little bit more attention to frost warnings, but overall, like, I enjoy the slower pace, and I hope you guys do too. So thanks for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and if you don't already follow us on Instagram, it's a great way to get a hold of us, and I'd love to start a conversation with you guys down in the comments. See you guys next time.